You're right. I'm here to see what shape the movement is taking.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm here, and thanks for the direction.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm here with Kshama Sawant, who is one of my favorite activists in the entire country, and I think she has an incredible future ahead of her politically, myself, if she chooses to go that way. I would love to see you take on Maria Cantwell or Patty Murray. I really would. And I will tell you that we Bernie Kratz would be behind you. They are traitors to working class people in so many ways. It wasn't just that vote. It was supporting TPP Fast Track. It's supporting the XM Bank for, which is a private piggy bank for Boeing. It's supporting the LNG export terminals there in Washington. They're horrible, and they have to go. So would you ever consider running for political office yourself? You are a council person, but I mean higher political office.
Well, I think the question of not only higher political office, but many political offices to represent the needs of working people is definitely an important one for us to consider. I would not answer that question from a personal standpoint, only not because we wouldn't do it. It's possible in the future we may do it, but above all, what we need in order to represent working class people, as you said, Bernie Kratz, disenchanted Democrats, even the rank and file Democrats who have not broken from the Democratic Party but are extremely frustrated and angry. They are looking for a way forward. I think for that to happen, we will need organizations like Socialist Alternative that have democratic structures from in the inside, where rank and file members have the opportunity to have a genuine discussion and debate, participate in the agenda making of their organization, participate even in decisions on who should be the candidate. And so if you look at the example of Socialist Alternative, I did not personally decide that I should run. Socialist Alternative, my organization, I'm a member of their organization, we debated on the question of running a candidate for city council. We voted on it, and also who the candidate should be was voted on. So I have absolutely no doubt that if our movement keeps developing, running candidates that are against corporate parties will be part of the structure that we need to build.
Now, let me ask you, you're very organized the way you were talking about this movement building. Have you guys thought about writing a manual for other, organizations that may want to start chapters of Socialist Alternative?
We do have not a manual per se, but we have a new member reading program that encapsulates a lot of our political ideas and also our organizational ideas. As you said, Lauren, you're absolutely right. We need those who are stepping into political struggle, those who are really inspired to fight against Trump's agenda, against the billionaire class. We do need some political guidance, and Socialist Alternative takes organizational experience and political theory very seriously. So I would urge all your viewers, if you're watching this and you are intrigued by how we've achieved what we've achieved in Seattle, and if that can serve as a model for building the U.S. left in general, for engaging millennials into politics, I would urge you to go to socialistalternative.org, contact one of our members. We can share the new member reading program. We can talk about this. This is a very open process. We want people to think about what we are talking about and join Socialist Alternative on the basis of a genuine agreement on not only political theory about socialism, but also, the strategy to fight against this sort of corporate-dominated politics, inequality, poverty, and just social injustice.
Now, for those of my viewers who were not watching the entire panel discussion, can you hit upon those two flashpoints you talked about for organizing, the March action and the May action? What were you suggesting that people do?
Well, fundamentally, what I was suggesting is that we are not going to be able to defeat Trump's agenda with the fact that his opinion polls are plummeting, or by the fact that protests have happened on Inauguration Weekend. That's absolutely critical, what we were able to do this weekend with the women's marches all around the nation and around the world, student walkouts, mass rallies. This was all really important. But what it needs to be this weekend is an opening salvo for a sustained struggle in the months and years to come. And for that to happen, we need sort of an organizational strategy, and the flashpoints of March 8th and May 1st could serve as specific days that we can organize around, like from now until March 8th, really build for a mass resistance on March 8th. March 8th is International Women's Day. What we need to do from now until then is politically organized young people, people who are willing to struggle into sort of mass rallies that we can have, mass protests that we can have on March 8th around specific demands, political demands related to women's rights against sexual violence, the ending of rape culture, for the full, guaranteed, and expanded rights to abortion and reproductive health care. I think we can really galvanize and mobilize thousands, tens of thousands of people, or millions of women and people of all genders are on the streets on that basis. But what we need is an aspect of non-violent civil disobedience, not just protests, but disruptive protests. As other speakers were saying today, we need disruptive protests, meaning we need to shut down highways, we need to shut down streets, we need to shut down schools and workplaces, corporate business entities, where we really bring, at least for a day, to a halt the entire corporate machine that has enabled Trump to win. A similar strategy would be called upon for May 1st, which is International Workers' Day, and also the historic day when immigrant rights protests happened. So what we need to do is turn out mass rallies and disruptive protests around the demands of no deportations and that everybody is legal, nobody, and full legalization for all immigrants. And I think that it could really be a successful day of action where immigrants and people who are born here really rallying together in solidarity. It will give an inspiring example of how we can take this struggle forward.
Right. Let me just push back on one of those ideas, because I like. One second. But I'm live streaming, so I can't walk and do all that at the same time. I love everything that you said, except for, shutting down highways, because I've seen that in Occupy, I've seen that in Black Lives Matter, and in Los Angeles you have people that are working 2 or 3 jobs, that are trying to get home to get 5 hours of sleep before their next job, that are trying to get home to relieve a babysitter or take care of an elderly parent or take their medication. Okay, we got to exit now. So can someone carry my purse while I do this? What do you think of, my coat is upstairs too. What do you think of that?
This coat is not yours, is it?
Yeah, it's just one, oh shoot, hold it.
I'll hold it. I'll hold it.
Tell you what, hold this to your mouth and yeah. So what do you think of that? Just that one little tactical objection.
I think it's a genuine point that working people are already struggling. As you said, a lot of people are trying to juggle several jobs, trying to get home to their kids. Absolutely true. And what I would say is when we take up disruptive tactics like that, it has to be, first of all, well planned, where we organize in such a way that those very people that you're talking about, the people who are struggling, and in fact the people that we're fighting for, are actually part of that struggle, are part of that campaign, and we have a full buy-in from them for those disruptive tactics. I think history has shown in the past that these disruptive tactics fail when activists are isolated from the social movement, isolated from the social masses, and do it on their own and end up only disrupting the lives of working people and not really achieving anything politically. That is when it doesn't work out. What we are talking about is mass disruption, mass nonviolent civil disobedience, by actually going to working people, going to their workplaces, going to young people on their school campuses, and winning them over into participating in that struggle in the first place. So when we are talking about disrupting highways, we're talking about those very people joining in the fight and embracing the tactic of disruption.
All right, listen, I've got so much more I want to ask you, but they're obviously kicking us out of here. So will you come on my show, The Robust Opposition, and talk more about this?
I would love to.
All right, thanks so much, Kshama. Okay.